It's the Let's Go Eat and Drink Show with your fabulous hosts. Their words, not mine. Bill Allred and Jimmy Santangelo. I'm your announcer, Zach Caton, and this show is coming to you live on tape from Ken Sanders' Rare Books, underground, deep, and I do mean deep, in the bowels of the Leonardo Museum, part of Library Square in Salt Lake City. And who better to have as a guest than Ken Sanders himself? Ken has been a part of the book scene not only in Utah, but in America for decades. He's been a guest on this show several times, and the story still hasn't been fully told. So here are Jimmy and Bill with the inimitable Ken Sanders.
Oh, there you go. I have trouble with those two, and I do it all every day. But that particular brand of headphone is.
Jesus Christ!
Keep him out of this.
You want us to wipe?
Not big enough for my head. My head's too big.
You want us to wipe your butt for you too, Kenny?
Yeah, if you would,
little Kenny.
Dad, bring that right up. Because you got the space there.
the cord's too short. My head's too big.
My butt itches.
My feet stink, and I don't love Jesus.
My grandmother used to say to me, if your feet smell, if your nose runs and your feet smell, you're built upside down.
Yeah.
That's a grandmother thing.
So we kind of relocated. I moved down. I don't know if the cameras are in position still, just to bring to your attention so you can micromanage that.
Cameras are in position. I've seen it like Tom Waits. Can you tell?
Yeah.
Not really.
Have you ever seen Tom Waits in concert?
No.
I saw him at a tiny little coffee shop.
Oh,
it was
man.
it was awesome.
My kids, it's amazing. Both my 26-year-old son and now my 21-year-old daughter, but they have loved Tom Waits since they were little.
That's awesome.
I took my son Gabriel to see some movie that Tom Waits was
frame.
in.
I'm out of frame.
It was.
You sure? Because what I'm looking at, I'm cut in half.
It was directed by the
full
guy
thing?
who directed
All right.
Brazil.
Oh God.
All right.
Oh my
No
God.
kidding.
Yeah, I'd love that movie.
Yeah, but I forget what this
It's
one was.
Terry Gilliam.
Yeah, Terry Gilliam, and he directed a movie that Tom Waits was in. I forget what it. Tom Waits played the devil, and my son just fell in love with it.
In a hole.
My pasties and a G-string, booze and a shot. Portland threw a shot glass at a Buffalo squeeze.
One of my favorites, The Hardest Saturday Night.
Oh no, my favorite is the piano has been drinking. It's so sad.
Not me.
Not me. It's the piano. The piano has been drinking. Not me.
Well, we're sponsored today by Beehive.
Oh, yes, we ought to get the show on the road, huh? Hi, everybody. I don't know where the cameras are.
Thunderous crowds.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, there they are. Listen, Beehive Cheese, let me mention that. Of course, this is the Let's Go Eat and Drink show with Bill Allred and Jimmy Santangelo.
Oi.
And sponsored by, did you say oi?
I did.
Oi! What are you from Liverpool? Oi!
More of a Manchester chap.
Oh, that'd be a Manchester,
Yeah.
not a Liverpudlian. And Beehive Cheese sponsors this. God knows, they probably, when they see this or hear this, will say, "I'm not doing it anymore."
We'll pass.
Beehive Cheese, in a league of its own, Utah's Beehive Cheese uplifts modest cheddar into artisanal greatness. With spirited flavors that spark conversation, producing award-winning cheeses is what brings friends and family together. Beehive Cheese are in first place at the 2024 International Cheese Dairy Awards for Best Cheese in the USA and took home silver at the World Cheese Awards 2023, as well as earning the Slow Food Snail of Approval in late 2022. Beehive Cheese is also one of only 7 American cheesemakers to be B Corp certified. Do you know what that is, Ken? B Corp certified?
Is it anything like a subchapter S corporation?
No, I don't know. I'll explain what it is this time. B Corp certification is a designation that a business is meeting high standards of verified performance, accountability, and transparency on factors from employee benefits, charitable giving, to supply chain practices and input materials. Although I'm sure that the current administration is going to outlaw that anytime.
That's cut.
I'm pretty sure they have to sign an oath that they can't do any harm to bees as well.
How bad? B Corp's out of...
B Corp.
Oh, God.
Snail of approval. You got to eat it slow.
Well, here we are. We're with my old friend, Ken Sanders. Ken Sanders, Rare Books. Ken Sanders is a living legend in Salt Lake City and elsewhere. He's well known around the country. If you've never been to his bookstore, but you might watch Antiques Roadshow and say, "Oh, that's that guy that's on there sometimes." Antiques Roadshow, yeah, that really did. That gave you a lot of notoriety, didn't it?
It's weirdly popular show on PBS. One of the most popular shows. PBS. I think they're up to 30.
I'll bet.
30th anniversary.
Yeah, something like
Coming
that.
to Salt Lake this summer.
Are they?
No kidding.
Where
Where do they host it generally?
Probably at
Well, they
Salt Palace. They used to.
No. Yeah, they've done a really cool thing. It's all historic places and outdoor places.
Oh, I haven't watched it for a while.
It'll be at Red Butte Gardens.
Oh, that's a
not
great
that if
venue.
you don't have tickets, you can't go.
Right. Are you going to be on?
Well, I'm going to be there. Whether I get filmed or not is up to the.
You'll be there appraising people's
Yeah,
books, and so it is a remarkable show. I haven't watched it for a while, but I got hooked on it at one point and watched it a lot.
Yeah.
And it's just fascinating, the stories that people, and even if it's not anything of tremendous value,
Right.
there's still a story there.
And the stories are yeah, $100,000, $1 million valuation. Sure, that's always exciting, but I live for the stories.
Do you have any idea, and we'll get off Antiques Roadshow because we want to talk about you, but do you have any idea, people who, when they appraise the item that they bring in and they say, well, this is a very rare thing and this is probably at auction, you could sell this for $500,000 if you want to put it up for auction, and people, they go, oh, what?
I just
Now-
retired, yeah.
Well, but that's what I wonder.
Yeah.
Generally,
What do
these
they do?
things are in their family, and they've been in their family, and they have sentimental attachments to them. But when they find out they're worth $500,000, they go, well, fuck the sentimental attachment. Let's sell it.
Grandma would understand.
One of my colleagues at Roadshow, Laura, I just watched an episode she and Kevin did appraising this woman's piece of jewelry. And I can't tell the whole story because I can't remember it. But the short story is Laura appraised the piece. It was a cufflink of some kind, very exotic Hollywood thing. She appraised it as something. Well, at auction, this might bring $30,000. To follow up on what you were talking about, the value. Oh, no, it's in my family. I could never sell it. They sent the piece of jewelry to auction, and it sold for $30 million.
Really?
Well, they were a little off in the initial assessment.
It's a funny game, I think, probably, trying to assess stuff like that, because you say, well, maybe $30,000, but then you go and it depends on who's there and who's bidding and who thinks they really need that.
For auctions, absolutely.
Yeah.
And, Antique Roadshow, we don't rehearse. You're
on the fly.
We're on the set
Yeah.
for 12 hours a day.
Oh, man.
And it's just constant incoming. At the book table, there are 3 of us. And we consult with each other. We help each other out because we have to give every single guest a $1 appraisal. We can't say it's worthless or nothing. Not allowed to do that. You can say $1 if you want.
We get that in the wine world or whiskey world. People always send me pictures and things like that. Like, what's his value? Is it good? I'm seeing this through video and pictures, right? But there are those assessments. So, my cork, the fill level, the condition of the label. I would imagine it's binder. This is any spills on it, water damage, that kind of a thing. I'm just suspecting. But speaking of beverage.
Yeah, I was just going to say, before we get into the Ken Sanders story, what is this we're drinking?
We have, gentlemen, thank you. Dawson, do you have one? All right. Is the camera on and everything's
Cheers. How will the public know Dawson's drinking with us?
He's on camera sometimes.
Ah, there you go. There you go. But Ken, I understand you like Scotch, but more of those characterful Scotches, which is no surprise. You're such a character. And this is a Scotch from Islay, and I got this in Scotland, brought it back. This is a independent bottler, Smoky Joe, and this is a blend of a variety of smoked Scotches on the island or from the island of Islay or Islay. A lot of people say Islay.
You've taught me something already today.
Yeah, there you go. Well, cheers. And these are the Glencairn glasses. And what I love about these glasses is that, they got this nice weighted base, a wide bottom. The aromatics come up. Its nose, it squeezes in. It's tulipped in. Very smooth lips, so it goes. But this is the key. You can set it on its side and roll it, and you're opening up that Scotch.
Don't try this at home.
Please try it at home. And guess what? Guess what you do here, Bill, if I may?
Yeah.
What you do is if you pour it in until it's about to pour out, like that, raise it up, the perfect dram.
Ah, how about that?
A wee dram?
Now, Islay, huh?
Yeah, Islay.
Islay.
I just wonder if it's the Donovan song. How high the gulls fly o'er Islay. How deep the farm lad deep. How sweet the farm lad deep in play. I wonder if that's. He is Scottish.
He could have been drinking single malt when he wrote that song.
And he is Scottish.
That's kind of cool. It's got to be.
All right, let's get into the Ken Sanders story. Born in Salt Lake City.
Yeah, South Salt Lake City.
Yeah, and
Yep.
what did your folks do, Ken?
Well, my mom was a secretary, and she worked for the the Elias Morris Company that used to be forever on 7th East, where then the freeway came through.
What kind of a company was that?
I don't remember.
Just business. And what'd your dad do?
Any damn thing he pleased. When we were young, Dad worked for a family business called Sanders Window Shade. It was there forever on about 2500 South State Street. And so my grandfather, Pop Sanders, he married Edith Annie Sander. So Sanders Window Shade was owned by the Sander, not the Sanders. But when you put an apostrophe S on it, it becomes
Sanders.
Miraculously. So I don't know how they do that.
And what kind of a boy were you, Ken? Did you get in trouble a lot?
I was the oldest child. I had a little brother. So I felt like I had to fight all the battles. And then I was very resentful. He comes along 5 years later, and it's like, why does he get a free pass on everything?
Yeah, easy. No rules or as strict.
But mostly, I just read books.
Just from when you could pick up a book and decipher the words you kept.
I could read it 2 or 3 years old.
What did you remember? What you started with? Well, like what
picture the pictures. I mean, the Oz books. John R. Neal's incredible artwork for those books just blew me away. And like we all know Wizard of Oz, but we know it from the movie,
which is wonderful. But the Oz books it's a whole mythology.
There's 40 of them.
Yeah. Wow. And you've read all of them.
Of course, several times.
And who illustrated them?
John R. Neal.
And did he illustrate all of them?
No. W.W. Denslow illustrated The Wizard, and then he illustrated all of them up until the last 5. He wrote and illustrated 3, and then the last 2 were one-shots by oddball guys.
So you grew up loving books. You read comic books, too, I think you've told me.
Oh, yeah, comic books. We didn't deal in them in grade school. By high school, I was running a mail-order business selling fantasy and science fiction and illustrated books and Frank Frazetta posters and stuff like that.
So did you think you wanted, I mean, from the get-go, did you want to be a bookseller or did you want to do something else at one point?
No, well, I played cowboy in my youth.
You wanted to be a cowboy?
I used to know how to get bucked off a horse pretty good. And I played, I did a printer for a few years. I did a radical environmentalist, Earth First, in the early 80s. We had quite some adventures with Edward Abbey and Dave Foreman and the Earth First Gang.
Mm-hmm.
We did a little. They were trying to make the nation's first nuclear waste dump down by Canyonlands National Park, Davis and Lavender Canyon. So we're going to do a demonstration. So the DOE comes to town.
Department of Energy.
They have all these big at the old Hotel Utah. Everybody from the feds, the states, everybody's there. So I had my shaman show up in a 100-year-old purple Masonic robe with sequins.
Your shaman, your personal shaman.
Well, for the day.
You've had
for the
shaman.
day. The shaman.
I
for
know
the
a
day.
guy.
I know a guy who can dress up like a shaman. Okay.
And then I had some beehive hairdo hats left over from my Utah Gateway to Nevada book. Mm-hmm. There were these big, tall, jingly hats, bright yellow with bouncy bees.
I have a
on
copy
them.
of that book at home, Utah Gateway to
It
Nevada.
was a funny book.
Ooh, you didn't write that.
No,
you published
it was
it, right?
Yeah, I was publisher. It was Mark Knudsen, Neil Passy, and Tom.
I had one of
Kelly.
very early radio days. I had one of those guys on our show in the morning to talk about
Way
Utah
back when,
Gateway to Nevada.
So we go into this hearing, and we're wearing white paper suits. And I went to the gardening store and got oh Lord, some kind of now I can't remember the word for
Like
it. It's-
mulch or dirt
Well,
or
yeah, but
hot soil,
I'm really ruining
Peat.
the story.
No.
it's more exotic than that.
moss.
It's lightweight. It's because what
Diatomaceous earth.
close. We'll leave it at that. Okay. So we took this stuff in. We interrupted the hearing. We took over the microphone. The shaman read the piece that told them what they could do with their Canyonlands nuclear waste dump, while the rest of us, dressed in beehive hairdos and white radiation suit, dumped radioactive waste on all the DOE and state officials, the governor, etc. And then, kind of like George Bush in Iraq, I didn't have an exit strategy.
Yeah.
We did a slow speed walk. The exit strategy was they're going to arrest us, but no one did.
I know the stuff you mean, and I don't know the name of it. That earth that you were trying to talk about. You see it in
Gardening. People use it.
You see it in flower pots a lot.
Yes,
It's kind of mixes with soil, sort of, and it's silvery looking.
Yes,
I know the
and
stuff
it's very
you mean.
blowy and
Yeah,
lightweight.
yeah. So Ken, that's
That was
later.
a detour. Yeah.
Yeah, that's later on in your. When did you first? I mean, I know the story, but tell people about when you first started getting into books and selling them and doing all of that.
I was a pretty serious book collector at age 14. My grandparents, we had a great aunt and uncle in Norwalk. They took us. It was like,
Connecticut?
No, California.
Oh.
You know,
Well, Norwalk is there's a Norwalk, Connecticut.
Knott's Berry Farm. Yeah, well, there's probably a Norwalk in a lot of places, Bill.
Probably.
That we don't even know about.
No, California, Bill, you dumbass.
It was next door to Knott's Berry Farm.
You say that wrong. Everybody says that wrong. It's not Knott's Berry Farm. It's Knott's Berry Farm. People, you need to say it was right next door to Knott's Berry Farm because they had a berry farm.
It
there.
was a berry farm.
Yes, it was. So anyway,
So Pop took us deep sea fishing, which was his passion. Now figure that out, you know.
Utah
From the
boy,
desert, yeah.
Okay.
I'd never figured that one out. And we went to Knott's Berry Farm, Disneyland. They didn't want to let me in because I couldn't prove I was only 14. They wanted to charge me the adult price because I was such a big kid. Mm-hmm. And I begged Pop to take me to Bertrand Smith's Acres of Books, 240 Long Beach Boulevard, Long Beach, California. And he did. And he sat outside in his metal gray Ford sedan, chain smoking unfiltered Camel cigarettes. He'd die a horrible death from at
Did he?
age 62.
Oh God, I used to smoke those.
He allowed me to go in there hours, and the old man Bertrand Smith himself, even though I was a kid, he could tell I was serious. So he unpadlocked the rare book room, and I bought a Maxfield Parrish, Arabian Nights.
The illustrator Maxfield Parrish.
Yes, the great American illustrator. I bought a Alice in Wonderland illustrated by a Welsh woman named Gwyneth Hudson. She only ever illustrated 2 books Inner Life, Alice and Peter Pan. And I bought a folio edition of Poe's The Raven. It's this huge, big.
You still have these books?
No.
Oh.
I lost every one of them in a poverty period. I have them. I've replaced them, but they're not my childhood.
Not the ones you bought. How much money did you reckon you spent on those when you were 14?
The Raven with Gustave Doré, every quatrain of the poem has a giant folio engraving, $17.50. And I just sold my last copy for $3,500 here a couple of months ago.
Wow. I remember you used to have a section in your bookstore when it was on down on Second East.
It still is on Second
Well,
East.
the building, the old building.
The old.
Yeah, right. For
Not
those,
the Cosmic Airplane. That was my first shop back in 75.
You used to you had an Alice in Wonderland section.
Oh, yeah.
With all these different illustrators. I was always in love with the Tenniel.
Oh, he's the first.
Yeah, and he's the one I grew up with.
Of course.
With Alice in Wonderland. But you had just dozens of different illustrations. I was blown away by that.
I like to keep about 100 of them in stock.
You still have all of that?
Oh, yeah.
Section
up
like
here, and then in the children's room on the main floor.
Yeah, by the way, if you're looking for Ken Sanders books, rare books, we are in the Leonardo.
Yeah, Leonardo Museum.
Yeah, which is the old Salt Lake Library.
Back
the
from
old
early
library.
60s when I was a kid. I used to come. We're here in the sub-basement. We're in the old library reading room, which seems fitting somehow.
Yes, it does.
For sure.
So Ken, you started really seriously getting into things like this with you opened with what's his name who became a legislator.
No,
Cosmic Airplane.
Well, no. You're thinking of Steve Holbrook.
That's who I'm thinking of.
KRCL Radio.
Yeah, wasn't he? Was he? He was involved.
No. But
Okay.
he was good friends. Steve Jones founded Cosmic Airplane in '67 with Shermclough hippie trippy head shop at 9th and 9th.
Right.
And evolved through several locations. By 1975, Steve had taken on a 60s activist partner, SDS guy, Bruce Roberts, who'd inherited some money.
Students for the Democratic Society.
Thank you.
Radical student group.
Yep.
Accused of bombing several facilities around the country.
Including the whatchamacallit building here at the U of
Yep.
U in 70.
Yep. I remember that.
So the three of us, Steve wanted me to manage. He had always had a dream to own a bookstore.
This is Steve Jones.
Steve Jones.
Okay.
Both these gentlemen are gone now. And so he wanted me to manage. I talked my way into a 3-way partnership with him. And when that dissolved in 1981, we were grossing $1.4 million a year.
Selling books or selling dope paraphernalia?
The money was in dope paraphernalia for sure.
The head shop, yeah.
The head shop, the jewelry shop.
Did you have
Smoky
water
ran-
beds too? The water,
No.
That was big back east. Water beds and stuff. The stuff was the head shop in the back.
I remember coming to the Cosmic Airplane when I was a punk high school kid from Ogden and came down to Salt Lake, and it was on First South, right?
Yeah, that was the one everyone remembered.
Yeah,
Next
that's the
door
one
to
I
the
remember.
Blue Mouse. And
Right.
then by 78, 79, Holbrook was running the Blue Mouse, Blue Mouse Theater was still running by then, but then Holbrook, through Robert Redford's help and ours, Robert Redford signed 500 copies of his Outlaw Trail, and we raised Holbrook's first $5,000 for him to get the station on
KRCL.
air above the Blue Mouse and next door to the Cosmic Airplane.
Yeah. So Cosmic Airplane is, and it was as I recall, a wonderful place. There was a place where you could put about 50 or 80 people or something like that and have a little concert from time to time.
Yeah, it was not a concert-friendly space.
But I mean, you'd have musicians and
Authors, musicians.
Yeah, and did you sell a lot of books there?
Oh, yeah. Oh, over the years, it was. The head shop was the money bringer,
Right, but
we sold records and jewelry and just everything.
Everything related to him.
stuff-
Incense, I'll bet.
Oh yeah,
Lots of incense.
yeah.
Right.
We metaphysical stuff. Nowadays, it's common, but back then, it was really cutting edge.
Yes, it was.
We carried metaphysics, we carried LBGT, though that term was not in use then. We had it all. It was a really, we had some 30 employees. It was.
How many times did you get busted there?
Well, we deliberately chose. We had a friend in the AG's office, and they said they're coming after you. And there was this gets tricky because most independent bookstores are purveyors of free speech, and independent thought, and ideas. But there's two things I regret from that time period. After I'd sold Cosmic Airplane out, when Mark Hoffman, the Mad Mormon murderer, bomber, forger, came along, it turned out he bought a copy of the Anarchist Cookbook from the Cosmic Airplane that he used to make the bombs that blew people up and killed them.
There was a recipe in there.
Nowadays, you don't need
You just go online and you can find it.
And the other book that we got word from.
Kids, remember, if you want to blow somebody up, just go online.
Yeah, Google it.
Amazon has a section.
Yeah.
How to blow people up.
And if you buy enough, you get a free 3D printer. I understand.
Yeah, and I mean we're laughing about this, but it was Mark Hoffman killed two people, two innocent people, and fucked himself up pretty bad too. Blew himself up.
It was in the old Judge Cafe building, right? The Judge building.
No, in the office tower.
In the office tower. I mean, yeah, of that building.
Yeah, and he's still alive and still in prison.
Not doing well.
Oh, is that you have updates occasionally?
Not much anymore. He's down in Gunnison.
Anyway, busted.
To finish that thought,
yeah.
The book that the AG, a friend of ours at the AG's office said, okay, they're coming in undercover. They're going to arrest whoever sells it to them. You need to decide if that's what you want. And the book in question, it was a perfectly innocent celebration book, but it was a book called Show Me, and it just had all naked people in it, including a whole lot of photographs of naked children.
Yeah.
And we made the decision then to pull that book. And today, I mean, I would not, because of things we didn't understand or know in the 1970s.
You wouldn't have sold it.
Yeah. That's not white.
It's
kiddie porn.
I mean, it's like the cover of what's that? The first album by Cream, is it?
No, Blind Faith.
Blind Faith.
Yeah.
And the English version, it's like a 12-year-old girl with no shirt on, and she's holding or pointing at an airplane. And I remember seeing that and not thinking twice about it one way or the other. As a matter of fact, I think I probably thought it was a boy because there's not very much development there. But people kind of went crazy about that, and to this day will go crazy about it, and I get it.
I do have copies of Mein Kampf here in the store, but typically if someone asks for it, like on the phone or whatever, I just tell them, no, I'm sorry, we don't have that. Or they're after really racist screed, like this protocols of the elders of Zion, this anti-Jew, just filthy shit.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm sorry, I've never heard of it. I can't help you with that.
But if somebody comes into the store and talks to you, and you can
I'll sell it,
and you can kind of assess who they are, what they are by talking to them.
But now I think from the Trump Foundation and Musk, you can get free copies for any donation.
That's right. He's sent to Pueblo, Colorado. Remember, you get all those government pamphlets. Remember that?
Oh yeah.
Pueblo, Colorado. How to keep your children alive in the event of a nuclear holocaust. Things. You just send for this free pamphlet from the United States government. You have just. We're jumping all around here, but you have just stories, and that's terrific to hear all of those. So Cosmic Airplane closes down at some point.
That was later in the 80s. Bruce
ran out of steam
and ran it into the ground, sadly.
And so you start Ken Sanders rare books.
I started Dream Garden Press, my little publishing outfit first. My very first book was Footprints in the Wilderness, A History of the Lost Roads Mines, Bill.
The Lost
Brigham
Roads
Young, Mormon
Mine.
Gold, Sacred Ute Indian Mines.
Yeah, they're down there in
Conquistadors.
Mount. They're down there in Mount Loafer, down in Utah County, right?
No, it's more out in the Uinta Basin.
Oh, this is the Uinta Basin ones.
That's Bishop Coyle's dream mine.
Yeah, there's supposed to be a mine down in Salem, Utah, that's full of gold if you could just find it. It's amazing what people will.
The thing about whether it's whatever gold tale it is, the Lost Dutchman or whatever, Lost Roads, the prevailing thing about, even if temporarily some of the gold or all of the gold's been found, invariably it's lost again and no one can find it.
King Solomon's mines.
Yeah, they're still lost.
I just was reading about King Solomon's.
Ken Solomon.
Yeah, Ken Solomon. King Solomon's mines. I was reading Friedrich Dürremont's The Physicists, and one of the guys in that play he's visited by King Solomon all the time.
Well, the old Traggart or Haggart, the old fantasy adventure writer, they made the big Hollywood movie of King Solomon's Mines.
Haggart.
Based on his novel.
Yeah, he wrote a novel that I think he wrote, The Devil Rides Out, which I read. I found in my parents' basement somewhere and read that when I was a kid. It was just like, oh my God, this is about devil worship. Ooh, it's really cool. And that's why I'm a Satanist today.
That's right.
It's amazing the influence that books have on us.
See, that's the whole nexus of it. Books, I mean, it's cliched to say, but they really are time machines, especially when you're little. Second, third, fourth grade, and every time you open the covers, man, you go to the flight to the wonderful mushroom planet, or you go with Danny Dunn and his anti-gravity paint, or Miss Pickerel when she goes to Mars, man. That's cool
amazing
stuff.
Yeah, it's just amazing what books and the influence they'll have on you, and when you're formative, which probably explains why parents and educators are so concerned with the books that are in the school libraries.
They are subversive.
They are. They are, in fact. That's. I hate to voice that, but maybe I should more. I understand that these, these books that they take out. They're so like a Utah young adult writer, who her books have been taken out more than any other of the school libraries, and it's because they talk about subjects that are, difficult. They talk about LGBTQ issues or trans issues or whatever.
Back in the 70s, Judy Blume was the it author because she just wrote to kids about real life problems they're having that, of course, the parents were far too cowardly to ever bring those subjects up with their own children.
Yeah, a little too close to home.
Yeah, exactly.
Showing the parents' vulnerability and things.
And I guess I understand why the school board members are concerned with these books.
Yeah, except these are organized outside agitators, not parents, that are banning these damn books, and there's not a one of them that's ever read one of the books.
Yeah, that's true. Okay,
so I firmly believe every parent has the right to choose what their minor children read. But your right to do that ends at the door. You can't control the school, the library, or what my children read.
My fifth grade teacher had a little library in the classroom, and you could go get any book you wanted and read it. And I went and picked out a book. I thought, oh, this sounds interesting. A Tree Grows in Brooklyn.
Oh, my gosh.
And I took that book home, and my mother said, what's the book you have there? And I said, oh, it's A Tree Grows in Brooklyn. I'm in the fifth grade. And she went, give that to me now.
Wow.
Give it to me. Because my mother was a voracious reader. She had read it some years ago. There's one scene in that book. So she took it away and said, you can't read this. And she made a little bit of a stink with the fifth grade teacher about why do you have this book in a fifth grade class? This is way too adult for fifth graders. And I think he agreed. He went, Oh, you're right. I actually really didn't know. It was just a book that was donated to me, and I put it in. So she hid the book from me. But I found it, and I didn't really even read it. I just looked for whatever scene it was.
What am I not supposed to be reading?
And there's a scene in it where the young girl who's the main character, the protagonist of the book, they live in a poor tenement area in Brooklyn, and at some point there's some guy exposing himself to her, flashing her.
I've forgotten that.
And it describes in detail what she sees. And I went, oh, well, geez, this is really... Oh.
It's a beautiful Catholic coming-of-age novel. I ridiculed it for half of my adult life, because every used bookstore in this country's got a copy. It was that big of a bestseller. Mm-hmm. And once I finally read it, it blew me away. And it's the only book she ever wrote.
I never read it, but I did see the movie. I think it was Dorothy Malone or somebody like that.
I never saw that.
And the movie was good. It was really good, although they didn't do the scene where the guy opens up his pants. But the movie was good. It was it's a good story. But I guess my point is that I don't know what the point I was trying to make there is. It's just
books in classrooms and things like that.
Forbidden fruit.
That was it. It was. My mom hid that book, but by God, I was going to find it and read it. So the minute you make it your parents make it an issue, or legislators make it an issue, you can bet that all of these books that they're trying to ban, the kids are going and trying to find them and read them to find out what it's all about.
I had read every book in the Woodrow Wilson grade school library. That is the ones I wished to read. So we were going on a first field trip to the South Salt Lake Library. I was in heaven. I found all these books, Frankenstein, Dracula. I had a big pile of them. And the librarian, these are from the adult section. You can't have these books. Oh, brother, was she ever wrong. I found a way to find those books and read them.
But she was being a good librarian. I mean, because she was saying, I don't think you're mature enough to read these books.
Bunny fuzz.
I'm not sure what that means, Ken.
It's a Mormon swear word, Bill.
Funny fuzz?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How can you translate that into to really cursing?
Fucking fuck.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Dawes. That's our producer.
That's our producer, Dawson.
Yeah, that's the only thing we'll cut out of the show, by the way.
Probably not.
No, we won't, because he's the one who cuts anything, and he'll leave that in.
So, but just back to a minute to Tree Grows in Brooklyn.
Yeah,
beautiful Catholic coming-of-age novel, and then I discovered Henry Roth's 1930s Call It Sleep, this extraordinary Jewish coming-of-age novel, and then. Like Tree Grows in Brooklyn, I always made fun of our own version, Maureen Whipple's The Giant Joshua.
I don't know that.
The only book she ever wrote. And
it's a Mormon kid coming-of-age story?
Yes. It's set in St. George against the 10 years later after the Mountain Meadow Massacre. And the new pretty young wife comes into the household, and the matriarch wife sends her out to the back shed to have her child. She isn't allowed in the house. But it's an extraordinary novel. I read it and just you develop these prejudices about books, other things in life that you haven't read or experienced, and we all do this.
Yeah. Ken Sanders, I haven't been keeping track of the time. I forgot to start my. Do we need to kind of wrap up here a little bit?
10 minutes about. We got about 10 minutes.
Oh, okay.
If we want.
Oh, okay, good, because there are many, many other things we can talk about with Ken Sanders.
All right.
I was going to ask you. You had a relationship with Ed Abbey.
Yes.
You have a relationship, sort of, with R. Crumb, the famed illustrator and comic.
Yeah, we're hardly bosom buddies,
Right,
but Edward Abbey, I certainly knew. We were friends. Wendell Berry, we were friends. I've Terry Tempest Williams, Barry Lopez. I mean, Charles Bowden. I mean, I've been very, very lucky in my Utah Phillips, our own Utah Phillips.
Utah Phillips.
Katie Lee from Idaho, or Katie Lee from Jerome, Arizona. Rosalie Sorrells from Idaho, our own Kate McLeod right here.
Kate McLeod, I know you're very close with her.
We do a river trip with our friends at Crate Colorado River and Trails expeditions every day. She writes songs.
You do that every year, don't you?
Yeah.
In the summer, yeah.
Yeah, and every single day on the river, she composes a new song and then plays it that night.
Do you sell tickets to that, or do
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
If you go to the Crate River or to the bookstore.
So I could come.
website.
I could come with you.
Yes, you could. Yeah.
Huh.
I might have to prepare Kate. Just kidding, Bill. I'm kidding.
You'll find Bill to be a bit abrasive, Kate.
She can handle you.
I
I have no doubt of that.
I was going to ask you about
They're a lot of fun. We're going May 27th to 31st down Desolation and Gray Canyon, so on the Green River.
Nice.
I saw an obituary in the New York Times about an illustrator that I'd never heard of, who was a kind of a contemporary, and I just was going to ask you out of the blue if you knew about anything about him. His name, he called himself Mad Peck, and I can't remember his first name. Doesn't ring a bell?
No, I don't know.
It's in this past Sunday's New York Times. You should. He was he's a contemporary of R. Crumb, and they knew each other, and so anyway, I'll just put that in your head there. I was quite interested in. I was hoping you would say, "Oh, I have some Mad Peck illustrate." I forget his real first name. His last name is really Peck, but he called himself Mad Peck.
I'll have to follow up on that.
Anyway, so Ken Sanders Rare Books. You went from Dream Garden Press, and then you decide you're going to get into the rare book business.
Well, I never really quit it, but
yeah, but I mean, you just kind of make it focus on it.
yeah.
What? Tell me about that decision,
Well,
and if you regret it.
well, I went through in the late '80s. I went through some really. Oh man, this would be like the biggest soap opera ever in the world, man. I think I don't know what maybe a country musical. I don't know how you'd spin it, but I don't want to get into it very deeply. But in the course of just a few years, now let me preface this by saying, if you're a bozo or a humperdink
Well, we're all bozos on this bus.
on this bus, that's right. Or if you're a muskrat or a bozo or one of those guys, it doesn't take any talent to lose staggering large amounts of money. There's no brain cells involved in that or talent of any kind.
No.
But when you don't have any money and you can lose hundreds of thousands of dollars that you don't even have,
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's a desired talent, okay? I'm not saying that. So I went through, wow.
Financial turmoil.
Oh, houses. The IRS at one time sent me, and it took them, I don't know, about a year and a half to even send the bills, but they decided that I owed them $3 million or something.
Oh, my.
It took them a couple of years at least I'd constantly get, every day I'd get certified mail from the IRS.
Ken, yesterday I wrote checks to the IRS totaling a lot of money, but
More than you wanted
now-
for tax day.
oh my God, it's in the not tens of thousands, but higher than tens of thousands of dollars. But at any rate, I feel better now knowing that you're $3 million. And
Well, my new CPA then, who is still my CPA to this very day,
saved you.
well, my ex-dead CPA saved me because
Yeah, you killed him overall.
no, he dropped dead of a heart attack in the middle of all this.
They all do.
They all do.
Basil Chachas.
Oh, that's a great name.
That's great.
So he not only did every client he ever had, he never filed or paid quarterly returns, Social Security, any tax you're supposed to
What do
pay.
you do? Pocket it?
Oh, we'll never know.
Ah,
But he never did it on his own firm. So I'm making the new CPA deal with the IRS agents at my shop,
Yeah.
in my office, but I don't want to talk to him. And he happened to mention Basil Chachas's name, and all of a sudden they're whispering to each other. Turned out Basil Chachas's name was a get-out-of-jail-free card. They didn't send me to prison, and they finally worked out, okay, you pay us $50,000, you're good.
instead of $3 million.
Yeah. And my CPA, the new CPA, said, look, sign this document, and I don't care what you have to do or sell. Don't miss a payment. Because if this is the only written agreement we have to make them do what they just said they would do.
Did they offer you interest-free terms? You could pay monthly, interest-free?
If it was done in 6 months.
Yeah, okay.
And that's when my childhood book collection went. That's when everything went. And then, there's other little highlights, like thinking I was really on my way to being somewhere and buying my dream home up Emigration Canyon, only to find the previous owner had excavated the canyon out around the house, had rerouted Emigration Creek around the house, and built a 3,400 square foot home without a foundation. And guess what I got?
Nothing.
A bulldozed lot. It got condemned. We had to move out, and they tore it down. And
God.
And I got nothing. And I could keep going on. Like my calendar line, Ed Abbey, the calendar line. I went from one Edward Abbey calendar in 10 years to 17 national park and wilderness calendars. I had this giant empire. I was cooperating with the Grand Canyon, Yellowstone, Yosemite.
Should be a money-making.
Great Smoky.
Yeah.
But I had to, anyhow, it ended really badly. That bunny fuzzer, that...
Bunny fuzzer. I thought it was funny fuzzer. It's
Bunny fuzzer. That's filthy.
So he
got down, sat on a bench.
I'm trying to keep this Reader's Digest line. This guy turned around and sold my calendar company for $5 million, and I got nothing.
That's no fun.
So here you are.
I'm
selling
still
books at the basement of the Leonardo Museum.
The sub-basement, Jimmy.
We
call it KSRB, underground.
KSRB, Ken Sanders Rare Books.
You are a legend. You're doing okay. Yeah. You don't have to cop to anything.
You know that old song for you. Don't let the sound of your own wheels drive you crazy. I never could learn that lesson.
Well, I want to cheer, so you're just going to get a little splash here, Bill.
You got a little splash of news. Ken, again, this is your third appearance on the Let's Go Eat show. First appearance on the Let's Go Eat and Drink show, but you were on 2 episodes of the Let's Go Eat show in the past, and that's a record, and you'll be back anytime.
Well, the drinks are a big improvement.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jimmy.
They got me here for some reason. Cheers.
Yeah, and we should make sure we talk about Literary Libations here too.
Yes,
just
our big new show.
Yep.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Literary Libations is a new live filmed recorded podcast, and I wanted, admittedly, never gets old, wanted to call it Books and Booze.
You're going to keep doing that joke.
You really wanted to class it up, Bill. Literary Libations here at Leonardo Museum. Bill Allred on mic. Ken Sanders interviewing. He's selecting all the themes each month. And I'm on stick, making Bev. And Literary Libations is really fun because you have 2 fabrics of our community, two threads of our community, creating this beautiful fabric of history. Because getting us all together and talking about something we're interested in, people, you can buy tickets to this event. You get a sparkling wine social upon arrival. We have a little charcuterie and a beverage to pair with each. And it's just fun. I mean, people come to this, they're taking notes. They're bringing the books. You're signing some of them. They're showing you pages. Read from it.
What's the best website to go and find out how to...
KenSandersRareBooks.com. You can also go to WineAcademyofUtah.com, and we have a link right to the event page. And the LeonardoMuseum.org also has us up on their event calendar at this point.
Tickets are very reasonable.
$35, something like that.
You get booze and conversation and charcuterie.
That's right. Yep. Can't beat it.
And if you want to pay more, we'll talk less.
You want to try and do some news here?
Yeah, let's do it.
News.
Yeah, we got a little a splash of news that we do on our podcast here.
Wait, are you going to tell the story about Elon Musk and the
no, it's different.
Breeding all the children on Mars?
It's a different kind of news.
Oh, rat.
Different splash. In weird beverage news, man receives venomous bite from snake wine. that came back to life. All right, check this story out. It's out of China. A venomous snake, which was still alive after being sealed in a liquor flask in China for a year, bit the man who dared to open the lid. The snake, which reportedly came back to life, bit a man from a northern province in China after he prized the lid open to take a look inside. The man in question, whose son had been diagnosed with a chronic illness, was allegedly trying to heal his son with a dose of the snake wine. Snake wine, by the way, which is often referred to across Asia for having health benefits, is said to be prepared by putting an entire snake, sometimes while still alive, in a jar of alcohol, often rice wine. So, back to the man. He was reportedly purchased 3 venomous snakes, soaked them in alcohol for marination. A year later, after he felt that the snake wine had enough medicinal properties, he then unsealed the flask for consumption. But unexpectedly, the snakes in each flask were still alive. And one of them lashed out.
He picked
with
3
a venomous
alcoholic snakes.
bite.
These snakes were alcoholics. Put me in that.
Well, if they weren't before, they sure were after a year.
After immediate hospital treatment, it was reported that the man survived the attack. But, upon reading this story, they never mentioned anything about if the son got better. Yes, that was the whole
Son,
point.
he did.
And that's your
now-
splash of news.
I have heard of gusanos, worms in the bottom of.
Oh, yeah, mezcal.
yeah.
But this is way past that.
This is something else.
Yeah.
Oh, my
Jimmy
God.
Santangelo with a splash of news. And I was just looking at your questionnaire here, Ken. The food that Ken could eat for an eternity. Cherries. Love cherries.
I do love cherries.
Cheesecake.
Yeah, I don't get to do that very much anymore.
Yeah. Prime rib.
Oh yeah, well I still. Do
God,
that.
I haven't
cook-
had prime rib in
cook-
forever.
I
We
smoke
should all
my
go
own.
out for a steak dinner sometime.
Ken smokes. He has a big smoker at his house.
4 of them.
Four smokers.
Wow.
And does all that kind of stuff. We should talk about your house sometime and your record collection, but we're out of time. It's Ken Sanders' Rare Books in the basement, the sub-basement
Sub-basement.
of the Leonardo Museum. He's a wonderful, and he's here all the time, and he's happy to talk to people. As a matter of fact, he's dying to talk to people.
Oh, brother.
You can't, you get him going, and he'll just keep going and going. He loves to talk to you. He's just like me, and we're brothers.
I'm never speaking to you again.
All right. Ken Sanders' Rare Books. That's it for the Let's Go Eat and Drink show.
It better be.
You're like, it's about time.
God, he's good. He's good. Thank you for all of this. Thanks for the cheese from Beehive. Thanks for bringing the whiskey, Jimmy. It's the Let's Go Eat and Drink show at gmail.com if you want to make any comments at all. And I don't know why you wouldn't just lay into us. So that's it for everybody.
We can take it as well as give it.
That's true. That's true. So just one more thing I have to say. I'm Bill Allred, and remember, if you're pouring the drinks, always make mine a double.
Cheers, boys.
Thank you. I swear to God you were saying Beehive teas.
Thanks for joining us for another episode of the Let's Go Eat and Drink Show with Jimmy Santangelo and Bill Allred. You can contact Jimmy at www.thewineacademyofutah.com. As for Bill Allred, it might be best to just leave him alone. Comments, questions, or angry complaints to the management should be directed to the Let's Go Eat Show at gmail.com. The Let's Go Eat and Drink Show is produced by Dawson Dow. Our theme music was composed and recorded by the great Doug Wild. Recording facilities as needed are by the Visit Salt Lake Media Center at www.visitsaltlake.com. The show is a Double Plus production. This is your announcer, Zach Caton, saying so long. And Bill, if you're the one that wrote this script and put inimitable in it, come on, man.
Inimitable.
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 Inimitable. Yeah, I got it.
Inimitable.
Let's go.